So back in 2011, my home was affected by the river erosion. When we lost our home, and I've seen that like entire village gone with a blink of an eye. That's how I got interested in geospatial technologies and disaster and climate risk data, so that I can help my communities to better adapt to the situation and prepare themselves. I'm developing a database which is called a Bangladesh Integrated Spatial Database. The most important value of having all this in one place is you can see the disaster and climate risk scenario of the particular area, and also as well as the government agencies spending. I can help my communities to better adapt to the situation and prepare themselves.
One of the things that has one of the biggest impacts for the Philippines is sea level rise and the increase in intensity or frequency of typhoons because of climate change. I'm working with the local team in the Philippines on a project called the Mindanao Transport Connectivity Improvement Project. The aim of the project is to figure out which roads are most vulnerable to climate change and focus on the improvement of those roads. It's also one of the parts of the Philippines that has the highest incidence of conflict. So they wanted me to look at it in a more holistic way, not just solely focusing on climate change, but looking at the nexus of conflict and climate change. So it gives us a very detailed overview, allows us to identify which road sections are most prone or are likely to be affected in the event of, say, an incidence of conflict.
So as a fellow, I was assimilated with the local team in India, and so I helped my local team in identifying what are the issues or what could be the probable cause of flooding in these cities. And then I also tried to advocate for nature-based solutions. But nature-based solutions are cost effective also, and they have multiple benefits. Not only they will mitigate floods, but they will also improve the quality of life of the people and aesthetics also, and other benefits also. Also reduce the temperature of the city, which is very critical for Indian context.
In this particular project, we're looking at more flooding and flood risks, and we're looking at a particular river system in South Africa that goes through 3 major cities. We have a lot of urban encroachment into the river areas. People are living on the river banks. It's affecting both themselves, their health risks, but now also the river system, which supplies water to most people in Southern Africa, is now also being affected. Trying to understand the baseline of this river system and what the data is telling us, what the risks are specifically for flooding, and how we can kind of come up with solutions for this. So a big part of this project is getting and collaborating with the 3 cities and getting them on board and involved and building almost participatory solutions together. What I've really gained and learned so much is the stakeholder engagement and the dealing with your government officials and how to come up with a diplomatic approach.
What we are trying to build is tools or a dashboard that can be used by different kind of stakeholders, including the ministries or agencies, or even down until the village level government. Not only provide them the understanding about the climate change and also climate adaptation, but also provide them some list. Oh, your village can do this A, this B, this C, some kind of like short guidelines. Climate action also can be done at the village level or at the community level.
In my country, we face many hazards, landslide, erosion, flood, and so on. And in this work, we have tried to analyze the exposure to those different hazards for population, for infrastructure, and even for livelihood. And it was the main important job I did there. We have produced from some different parts of the country different maps. Yeah, these maps will be used by those communities. They can easily see for the next activities, for example, hazards are more in this area instead of this area. There is more risk on infrastructure in this part of the country instead of this country, and to try to find solution about it.
So I started working at the intersection of AI and Earth observation. We used AI and satellite images to see if we can locate the most vulnerable populations. The Caribbean is one of the most climate vulnerable regions in the world. This has spurred ambitious climate resilience programs. In order for these climate resilience programs to be successful, you need comprehensive housing stock information. Try to create these maps, these AI-generated maps, and scale it across the country. If you overlay it with hazard maps, you can also understand the vulnerability of these buildings and strategize reconstruction or retrofitting efforts even before calamity strikes. It's been like very fulfilling to me.